Good evening. This is Channel 2.5 WKCHN News with all the ish you want to hear.
We're here today to talk about immigration. First, here's a little backstory.
Immigration has been occurring in America for a very long time.
Especially since we're a very lovable country.
In the early 1800s, from around 1815 to 1860, there was a very massive influx of immigrants to America.
The immigrants were trying to escape problems in their country.
These were problems such as violence and political turmoil at home.
They didn't like the way they or their minority were being treated, or how their country's leaders were acting.
There were dictators forcing everyone to do certain things, and laws that were extremely harsh and strict.
Some people were even killed just because they followed a different religion or a different color.
Religion causes a lot of problems, it seems.
And many people just didn't like their country's customs and ways of life, so they sought out America for change.
Other problems that drove the immigrants away were things like starvation and poverty.
Other countries were so tight that people could barely find ways of getting money or food.
Jobs were either unavailable, paid too low, or had very harsh conditions.
Food was becoming very hard to come across, and families could barely make it through each day, if they did at all.
Food also got scarce due to diseases, such as potato famine, which affected many Irish people.
Their potatoes had gotten infected by a fungus and were wiped out. Since potatoes were a main part of the Irish's meals, many began to go hungry. This drove them to America in hopes of finding other ways to support their families.
Jobs here were plentiful.
Many immigrants were able to take the jobs that no one else wanted and still got paid more than they ever would have back home.
People here also discovered new opportunities due to our freedoms and our country's youth.
Immigrants here were able to do what they wanted, say what they wanted, and have no fear of being hunted down and killed by our government.
Immigrants could also leave their country's customs, such as forced marriage, to have brand new lives in America, where they could be dependent.
However, everything can't be perfect.
A lot of the immigrants faced discrimination and prejudice. Some even considered those like the Irish to only be good at manual labor, since they were illiterate.
Americans didn't believe that so many different cultures and languages should be tainting their own.
And those religious fanatics were so upset just because some of them practiced other religions.
There are even groups, such as the Supreme Order of the Star-Spangled Banner, who pledged never to vote for Catholic people.
And they called themselves know-nothings, because when people ask about their involvement in these groups, they claim they didn't know nothing.
Regardless of the hate, many immigrants still enjoyed lives here better than lives elsewhere.
And they began to mix in with American culture, make it more diverse.
Now to our roving reporter Bowen for an interview with two local immigrants.
I'm here with these two immigrants that volunteer to share their stories with us. Alright, miss, let's start with you. So, miss, what is your name?
My name's Louise.
Okay, Louise. So where'd you come from?
I came from Italy.
Okay, Italy, huh? So how long have you lived here in America?
About 16 years.
So why'd you leave Italy?
Well, when I was 8, my parents were poor and they tried to marry me to a rich guy, and I can't be held down anymore.
Wow, so how'd you stay in America then since then?
It's been hard. I mean, I live next to two immigrant haters, and there's really nothing I can do about that. Yeah.
So what about finding a job? Has it been hard at your young age?
Not really. I mean, when I was 8, I got a job straight as a maid, and that's how I started my room and board. And then I built me a farm. I started up a farm, and then after that, I took up translating Italian and English. So I make good money.
So looking back now, would you ever consider going back to Italy?
No, if I did, I'd kill my parents.
Okay, well thank you for your interview, and I hope you have a good stay here in America.
Thank you.
Well, now it's your turn, sir.
Oh, how thrilling.
So, sir, what is your name?
Well, most people call me Grandpappy, so please call me Grandpappy.
I feel more comfortable with the actual name.
It wasn't a request, it was a command.
Oh, well, sorry, sir. So where you come from?
Germany, Sonny.
Well, how long have you been here, sir?
Probably about 100 years.
100 years? How old are you?
176, and I don't appreciate being interrupted.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. I was just a little surprised.
Well, I've been around this long and I'm still kicking just as strong as ever, so I'm probably going to be around for a lot longer.
Well, sir, why'd you leave?
Well, you see, back in Germany, I had these people after me because the Germans were in their I want to rule the world, perfect race. We have talking dogs. How about you, stage? And I didn't want to be a part of any of it. Not because I didn't like violence, you see, because if I could whoop everybody on this planet, I would, and they definitely need it. But I just didn't want to be a part of it. And then they kept hunting me down and fighting over me, and I know I'm worth fighting over, but they were really doing it. It just got irritating, so I had to leave, and I came to America. It was either this or stuck up Europe.
Well, I can see you had an interesting life. What do they want you for exactly?
Well, if I told you that, I'd have to go back into hiding, and you'd have to conveniently disappear.
Well, how have you felt about living here in America?
Honestly, it's horrible, but every country is horrible. I just wish I had my own country, but at least this one had a little hope in it. I mean, we are the center of attention, and we have a lot of things that those other countries don't have. So,
What about work? Do you have a job?
yes, of course. What do you think? I'm a lazy slob? Don't answer that. I'm a factory worker. Yes, this job is much better than my old job back in Germany, which we shall not discuss. And my boss here is much less banky than my old boss, who we shall also not discuss. And at least here we get to speak our minds and complain. And if we did that back in my old job, we'd get slapped by our co-workers.
Okay, sir. I think we've heard enough.
Well, that was certainly unexpected.
I think it made for great television.
Please note that not all immigrants were this crazy. Usual results were less dramatic and more boring. The behavior and story of these two immigrants are not typical. Welcome back. We could just interview two crazy immigrants on their experiences in America.
Now it's time to hear from two locals who don't think immigrants should be here. Over to you, Bowen.
Thank you, Lucy. I'm here with two local American citizens who claim immigrants should not be here. So, miss, what's your name?
Zendaya.
So, Zendaya, how do you feel about these immigrants?
They are so disgusting. They should go wherever they came from. I hate them. And like this old man keeps coming by my house, like looking through my trash. And those Irish people, they are disgusting. They have no manners at all. Like health, hygiene, they don't know any of it. And their children are disgusting. They come begging for food. They set up a tent in my yard. It was embarrassing. Like my neighbor would have come there. It was terrible. And then this Italian girl named Luisa, I think, she came by in a maid uniform. She asked for my husband. I couldn't just take that. I got my shotgun.
Was there any reason you feel this way?
They take all the jobs and everything. I mean, seriously, we don't want them here. If you weren't born in America, then you shouldn't be here. Like, it's a disgrace. And they should go back where they came from. We need a hitman.
Sorry, ma'am. What do you think should be done about these immigrants?
Kill them.
Well, you heard it here. Nativism at its strongest. Back to you, Lucy.
Thank you, Bowen.
Guys, I think we have a problem here.
You're a slut. Don't make me blink. You're a slut.
You know what?
Shut
You
up.
know what?
White trash tramp.
Please.
Shut up. Come on.
What?
Are you
What?
ready?
What?
I gotta wait too much.
He doesn't want you. He doesn't want you.
Oh, bitch. My hip. My hip. My...
Thanks, Bowen.
Well, that interview was very suspenseful.
Not really. I saw it coming.
Don't hate.
Whatever.
Anyway, back to immigration.
Regardless of American hate towards them, immigrants still made up a large percentage of our society.
In the 1900s, within 10 years, over 300,000 Italians had immigrated to this country.
This number more than doubled in the next decade.
Well, that's all for now.
I would say I hope you enjoyed today's episode, but I really don't care, since you have a remote and you could have changed the channel if you didn't like it.
Now it's your turn, sir.
Oh, really?
Oh, sir, what is your name?
Well, most people call me Grandpappy, so please call me Grandpappy.
Well, I feel more comfortable with the actual name.
It wasn't a request, it was a command.
Oh, sorry, sir. Well, where'd you come from?
From Germany, Sonny.
ma'am.
Ma'am, I need to see your green card.
Uh,
I need, you know, that's violation of national immigration law. You're on your knees, on your knees. You don't have a green card.
I'm not an immigrant, I'm a
You're trying to
person.
run. Not anything to say. Put your hands behind you.
That was like 16 years
You
ago.
have a right to remain
Hello?
silent. Anything you
16
say can
years
be held
ago.
against you. Ma'am, you need to be quiet and cooperate. You don't have your hands. Put behind your back. And you're going back. Immigration, naturalization.
This is wrong.
Okay,
This
on
is a
your feet,
violation.
on your feet.
I'm not on my feet.
Anything you say can will be held against you in the court of law.
You don't want me to say
Now,
anything, do you?
Keep your mouth quiet. We're going to call Border Patrol, and you will be escorted back across county lines. On your feet.
You're really going to take me?
On your feet.
There is no county lines. It's the sea.
Ma'am,
I'm in Italy.
if you don't cooperate, I am going to spray you with mace. Let's go.
Are we done yet?